Hello there. What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking about the Star Wars Celebration exclusive Vader for Star Wars Legion. There's actually been a lot of drama about this, and especially because it's going for hundreds and hundreds of dollars on eBay right now. And I did talk about it a little bit in one of my live videos, but not everybody watches the live stream, so I just kind of wanted to address some of like the myths and things that are going on about this. So before I jump into it, though, speaking of Star Wars Celebration exclusives, there is a huge new round of the giveaway going on right now where I am giving away both of the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Celebration exclusive, Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi. I was hoping to do a giveaway for another Vader, but I could not get another one, which is one of the things that we're going to talk about. But yeah, so I'm giving away these guys. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. This giveaway is going to run for a while. It's going to run until the end of May. And I generally announce winners at the end of my videos. So make sure you subscribe and even click that bell for alerts so you don't miss out. But yes, basically, there were only 500 of these things made. And I actually just finished painting mine real quick. So I'll show it to you guys while we're getting this, if I can get it to focus. There we go. So I finished painting this guy, put him together. I think the base is really the highlight of this model. It's, the whole thing is sculpted really, really well. I'm not the best painter out there, but I definitely took some time. I'll probably take some better pictures, probably for the thumbnail of this video. But yeah, and now comparing him to the other Vader, it's actually, I think there's like it's a detriment because he's so much taller that he's going to get shot a whole lot easier. He's going to be harder for him to hide behind things. And honestly, since the Mini's so much taller, a barricade might not even provide cover for him. You could easily make that, since it's not going to be taller than half of the Mini, barricade might not provide cover. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and talk about the rumors that are going on around about this Mini. It was said that it was for the first 3 days, for like more than half the con, that traders bought everything. I've seen a trader, as in like the people who are working the trade show, or exhibitors basically. As somebody who was there and who was an exhibitor, I can tell you that that's partially true, but not completely true. So here's what happened. There were 500 made. There sold 100 per day. So 5-day con, 100 per day. Now on the first day, I'm not exactly coming to FFG's 100%. I'm not trying to white knight FFG in this matter, but because there were some, I think, mistakes made, but so many people are very, very mad. I think what you need to do is, I do want to shine some light on what happened here, and it's not as bad as it seems. And what we can do to be helpful for things like this in the future is to provide constructive criticism, like, hey guys, maybe next time try this, and just provide constructive criticism in the future. So there's the first day they did open it up for exhibitors, because now exhibitors are in the convention hall before the doors are open. They're working, and so as an exhibitor, you are not necessarily able to, you're not free to get in line and buy things. So that's one of the reasons why some people will sell to exhibitors early. That's how I got my copy of Outer Rim, and that is how I got my Vader. Now, because I was there working for FFG. They were going to make sure I got it, that I did get one if I was trying to get one. That's one of the things, like they will take care of their own people, but it's not like there was 500 of us working there. There was only a handful of us working there. So they're like, yes, we'll make sure you get one, because you're going to be, and I was working pretty much the whole con. I had, very few free hours. So, I understand them letting exhibitors in. However, because they sold out before the doors even opened to the general public, by the second day they had already made changes, and they were not letting exhibitors buy all of them. So some of the rumors that they just let all the exhibitors buy them all up, and so none of the con goers got a chance to buy them. If you're hearing people say that, that's just not true. Because I will say this to FFG's credit, they were trying their best to adapt to the demand. They did not expect there to be this much demand for this figure. Now, one of the things that I will say as far as constructive criticism, one thing at Star Wars Celebration, having been to a couple of them now, that is in extreme demand are these little pins These little pins that people pin to their lanyards. People go absolutely crazy for these pins. I even bought a couple, just, some random, they have like random booster pins, and I got like a really rare one. I was doing trading and stuff, trying to maybe see if I could trade somebody for an extra Vader, so I could have stuff for giveaways, but no, it didn't work out. But the thing is, people go nuts for these pins, and Fantasy Flight had Sabine as their pin. And there's pins that you can get only in the Celebration store. There's pins that only the con crew, like the staff, have that you can only trade for. And there's like one pin given to everybody who sells stuff. And it's like, all right, you can get the pin, but you can get the pin for free, but you have to get it with a certain purchase. And this is where I think FFG maybe screwed up, because this was a $30 expansion, $29.99, right, plus tax. So it came out to like $32, something like that, $33. Now, because this came out to over $30, FFG had said, all right, the pin is free with a $30 purchase, which coincidentally, this is the only thing that you could, this was the cheapest thing you could get and also get the pin. That was the screw up. That was the screw up, because a lot of people who were getting in line to get this did not want this. They just wanted the pin, and they wanted to get the cheapest thing they could get that would also get them. A lot of these people, Star Wars Celebration is not a gamer convention. It's a Star Wars convention. And a lot of these people are like, oh, this isn't even a Vader figurine. It's just like all these little pieces. How do I assemble them all? So there was I can't speak for everybody who was getting in line. How many of them just turned around and said, oh, what am I going to do with this? I guess I'll sell it on eBay. There was probably a lot of that. But the smarter thing so my constructive feedback is, next time, if you're going to have something exclusive for Celebration, and I'm fine for exclusives, but have more of them next time, please, try to make it to where everybody who wants to get one can get one. And this way there'll be some on eBay, but they won't be quite so inflated. So if I can't make it to Celebration, because this was like the number one thing I wanted from Celebration was this. And so if I couldn't go to Celebration, I would gladly pay $200, $300 on eBay for one of these, because the cost of getting there, I spent $1,000, getting to this con, over $1,000. I spent probably almost $1,200 in total getting to this con, between Ubers and food and the merchandise and airfare and everything else that goes along with going to a 5-day convention in Chicago, which is an expensive city. So if I could have spent a small fraction of that and still got the most important thing, for me, I would have looked at the bright side of that. So hey, I got the cheaper. Now, granted, of course, it's apples and oranges, because also being there, you get other experiences along with being at the con. So here's what happened on the second day. Because the second day I was going to try to get one. I was actually live streaming, and I was like, oh, you know what? I think the line's forming up. I'm going to see if I can get another one. And I ended my live stream, because there were other exhibitors that were trying to get in line. And the FFG people came out and says, exhibitors, you cannot get in line. Not until X time. So we have to because there was all kinds of people who had this Jedi Master, this early access badge and all access badges, and people who had badges who were normal con goers, but they paid like a crazy amount, like $1,000, to be able to get in to the con early. And this was every day they could get in early. And so those people had first, basically could get in line first, which was fair. They were saying, hey, exhibitors, you can't get in line. You can't, you have to wait until all these people are in line, and then you can get in line after, I think they did a time, after 9:45, then exhibitors, you're allowed to get in line. And they were checking badges. I got pulled out of line because they knew that I had already gotten one. So I was gonna try and get another one. However, FFG was doing what they could to make sure that people weren't buying extra ones. They said, hey, if you work for us, we're gonna make sure you get one, but don't take advantage of that, and because everybody needs to get one. So of course I was gonna try and get one, but because who wouldn't? I had a lot of people asking me to try and get as many as they could. But what they didn't have is a system to basically scan your badge and say, no, our records show you've already bought one. That was the thing. Is all right, I worked many cons for these people. They know who I am, but if you are not a recognizable person, you might have been able to go back and get through one every day, especially if you had that early access badge. So constructive feedback number 2 is make sure you next time, or at least try to get like plugged into the system where the badges, where you can scan the badges and they'll work for you. Some of us even joked when I was talking to some of the FFG people about this. Some of us even joked and said, have a phone out or something and just be taking their badges and going beep. Like, okay, we don't have to make the beep sound effect. But if people at least think that you're scanning their badges, then they're not going to come back through and waste their entire morning in this long, long line to get turned away, right? So just the illusion of you're scanning your badges to make sure you can only get one would do wonders for the supply and demand issue. So constructive feedback number 1 is don't price the pin at the same price as the cheap item. Either make this cost more or make the pin require maybe a $35 purchase. Maybe people are buying like an X-Wing core set or something like that. Some people are buying something else because if you needed a $35 purchase, then they would have had to buy this and something else. Now, granted, of course, I would have done that. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't have because I didn't care about the pin. But if the pin was what I wanted, then sure, I might have just bought something else. Maybe bought something more expensive. I mean, I did anyway because I bought the tank and the land speeder when I was out there. I found out later that the RPG, the Clone Wars RPG book, they had a limited amount of those that were there also. So, it'll just force people to, and maybe people would have actually bought X-Wing and, or gotten into, or a Legion core set or something like that and gotten into these games. So if you put it at a different price point, it might have been a better way to go. So that was constructive criticism number 1. Constructive criticism number 2, try and get piped in to the system to limit it to 1 per person. That would have made sense. That would have been great. And then maybe people trade or whatever and figure it out. So people will always find a way to game the system, but if you at least put some barriers up there, then it's not going to be gamed as much. Constructive criticism number 3, have more supply. They didn't have any idea that there was going to be this much demand for this item, and I think a lot of it really boils down to the pin thing. So maybe there really wasn't that much demand, but there were a lot of people. I talked to so many people who played Legion that were trying to get this. So I think they underestimated demand. So if they ever do it again, hopefully they have at least triple the quantity, probably 10 times the quantity. Instead of making 500, make 5,000 of them. 2,000 at least, right? Something like that would probably go a long way. And I think that's something they absolutely have to do, because so many people I was talking to that couldn't get one, and like one guy was first in line, still couldn't get one. So basically, after day 3 of the con, this was a 5-day con, they did change things up a little bit, and they said, okay, we're only going to do 50 in the morning. So all these early access people, because some of these early access people were able to get in there and buy one over and over again. These early access people, they're only going to sell 50 in the morning. And then it's going to be 50 in the afternoon. Now here's what happened. And I applaud them for trying to come up with creative ways to do it. Somebody suggested the idea of like, well, what if we give people a Legion trivia question before they can buy it? And that sounds really cool, but I think when you actually try to implement that, it becomes kind of a, there's something unethical about that. Like, what if somebody honestly wanted to get into Legion and just didn't know the answer? Like, what if, and what is a question that every Legion player would know, that even maybe somebody who was thinking about buying Legion and this was going to be the catalyst to get them in may also know, or, it becomes like way too like, or wait, you have to answer trivia to be able to make a purchase now. And so as much as I would have liked something like that, I don't think that's really a good way to go. So instead, they basically said, all right, 50 at 2:00. And so what happened at 2:00 is that everybody's crowded around waiting for them to say, okay, you can now get in line. And there was too many people. By that point, the damage was already done, that there was too many people that still needed one, it was like a mosh pit and people trying to get them. And they had these basically little cards that they were handing out. And and I think on the last day they eventually just were like kind of giving them out kind of at random, so not everybody got one. So this way, hopefully, if you at least had a chance, if you weren't like the first one in line, but still there just wasn't enough. That's the plain and simple. There weren't enough. Now the good news is that this is not your only chance to ever get one of these. Granted, you can get them on eBay, but not everybody can afford hundreds of dollars for a single miniature. It's kind of absurd, right? So some people will do it, some people will not. Maybe the price will go down over time too. The good news is the deal they made with Celebration was for this to be a convention exclusive for 1 year. Which means next April they may be able to make these again, and you may see this again. I think after the demand that they put out, I think they will absolutely do this again, but I can't say definitively. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's a 1 year exclusive deal. If they do these for other cons, I mean, I'm definitely going to get them. I'm blown away with the quality. Absolutely impressed with this. Absolutely love the sculpt. Don't care if it means my Vader gets shot more, because I want to get this thing on the battlefield. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Although it does clash, because I did all my Imperials with like a snow base, and he's the only Imperial that has like a rocky base. So, yeah, he clashes a little bit, but I don't mind. He's amazing, and I love it. So I'm expecting. My guess is that they're going to do Luke for Gen Con. This way you got Luke and Vader. You got the whole corset mentality going on. That's just my guess. Maybe it'll be Return of the Jedi Luke. Maybe it'll be Farm Boy Luke. Maybe it'll be something totally different. My guess is a Return of the Jedi Luke, but then again, this is not really Return of the Jedi Vader. This is just like maybe Vader from the comics. Maybe it'll be Luke with that jacket that he's wearing at the end of Episode 4, and like he is in the comics also. He's kind of like that in between. I don't know. But my guess is that they'll do a Luke also. And I'm going to definitely try to get one of those, because they're awesome. Alright guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. You can check out Crabbok.com. You can hop in my Discord. There's links to all that stuff. I want to give big thanks to my patrons on Patreon as well. There is a new giveaway that I'm going to be starting up early this coming week. So make sure you look for that as well. More promos for you guys. And that's all I've got for you guys. I want to thank you all so much for watching. And as always, have a great day.